All right. All right, cool, man. All right, hey, what's up, guys? What's going on, man? Welcome to fourth quarter, man. We just talk about sports, how we feel, just like at the water cooler. So right now, we're definitely gonna touch on John Madden, who definitely lost his life, unfortunately, at the age of 85. So we're gonna start off with Mo, man. What's your reflections of John Madden and what's your remembrance of him?
Man, just a major part of my childhood and growing up. Whether of course through the video game and through just hearing his voice broadcasting games. It was just definitely a giant in our sport, in the sport of football and sports world. Period. I've had every Madden. I've played every Madden since it came out. So. Just a major part. That's the first thing I put on the list for Christmas. We always wait till Christmas and be like, can we get the new Madden? So definitely hurts. Definitely a loss to the sports world. I know probably every NFL team is probably going to do something. At least, of course, a moment of silence. And I know the Raiders probably are going to do something big for their game. I don't know if their game is at home or away this week. But I know they're definitely going to do something. I know it's probably decals on the helmets or everybody's helmets or something. And, that's the least we can do for what he's giving to the game. So.
All right, cool. Corey?
Yeah, it's definitely a loss for the football community. Madden, was a staple growing up with watching football every week on Fox. He just, had the ability to make football accessible to a lot of people and help spread the game. And, for our generation, having his name, Madden, developing a football game like that we grew up with and everything too is, it was just a staple of our childhood and is a staple to this day. His contributions to the game are considerable and, his presence will be missed.
All right. Craig, thoughts on Madden, man?
Well, obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is the football game, the video game. I was playing Madden the other day, matter of fact. So I still play Madden. Pretty much, I get Madden every year, regardless of if it's good or bad or whatever. It's football, so that's the first thing that comes to mind. But obviously, he was a coach. Before that, with the Raiders, I think he's still the all-time winningest coach in the Raiders history. So that's a big feat in itself to be at the 2021 still the longest winning coach in Raiders history. Also, he was just so much fun, I guess, on TV. Just growing up, you'd be able to watch him on TV on Fox, and he's boom, and he's just like saying all this stuff. He's got a telestrator going, and he's just out loud and just doing stuff. And then just him and Pat Summerall, both of those guys, man, it was just a dynamic football duo, basically. Then he has the Thanksgiving turkey and stuff like that with like the 5 legs, 6 legs on it. So he was just fun to watch. He was outgoing and he was just made football that much more entertaining with him doing the commentary and things like that. So he's definitely going to be missed. And it's just like the sport of football just lost an icon. So
yeah, man. John Madden he meant so much to the NFL. I missed the special Fox just had. They're definitely gonna be airing it. I'm gonna record it. Man, the impact that he's had on the game is he's impacted every generation of football, and that's legendary status of how to do, right? So I'm one of those guys that I try to be a historian of the game. So I knew that he was the Raiders coach, went to the Hall of Fame for that. He kind of established the Raiders culture He only lost 32 games in 10 years. That is insane. Like his winning percentage is crazy. And now growing up, I remember him on the commentary. And oh man, I just loved him. And it's funny that now I'm not telling my age, but I grew up with Tecmo Bowl. People remember Joe Montana football. It was around Madden. It's a lot of football games, but Madden kind of broke it down further where they're actually NFL plays. And listening to all the people that knew him, Madden wanted to be known as a teacher of the game of football and how we broke it down and simplified it for people like me, you, people that didn't play the game, that don't know. The NFL is complex, very, very complex. So, he broke it down for us. And I don't know if Craig might remember this, but he had an all Madden team that NFL players were a part of. And I think that was better than the all pro. I don't know, man. I just feel like he would select like the best players at each position on offense and defense. And, I forgot, shout out to Shannon Sharp. He mentioned it today. I was like, oh, I forgot about the all Madden team. And used to look to see who was, on all Madden team. And yes, I do remember that, Craig. It's called a turducken.
That's what
I grew up with it. As soon as my dad seen it, it's a chicken. And people don't know it's chicken, turkey, and duck in one. And it's crazy. I've had it like 2 or 3 times. It's nice. So man, yeah, man. John Madden is awesome, man. So, man, memories, man, memories. Oh, one other thing, man. Do you know I was just listening? I forgot that we have so much access to sports, but when I was growing up, it was just kind of like like you had ESPN, and that's how SportsCenter got so popular because they would show the games that weren't televised. Growing up, it was just like you got your 1 o'clock game, your 4 o'clock game. I don't remember Sunday night games. And then you had Monday night, which had John Madden. And it was crazy that we have so much access to sports now that, it's ridiculous. But I remember growing up, I didn't grow up with no black and white TVs, but I don't know. I might. No, never mind. Tell my age. All right, man. All right, now we're gonna talk about the Pro Bowl snubs, man. Some interesting picks, fellas. Some we agree with, some we don't, but we're gonna go over it and break it down. So right now we're gonna let's do the AFC, man. So we're gonna have the same format like last time. All right, for course, Patrick Mahomes for quarterback, everybody agrees. Right? Justin Herbert. Does everybody agree with Justin Herbert?
I would.
Yeah. I know you do, Craig. I know you do, Craig. That's Craig, man. I ain't mad at him. Good pick so far. Lamar Jackson.
I didn't agree with it last time, and I still don't agree with it. We all came to a consensus, but like I know I said Carson Wentz, but just looking at like Josh Allen or maybe Joe Burrow, I can see either one of those. Lamar's just been hurt too much, I guess, for me. And I understand that he's, I guess, not played the last couple of games and all that, and when he's in there, obviously he's amazing. Like he's MVP material, but I just haven't really seen enough, I guess, this year, like compared to years past when he was MVP and stuff. Like he's just not putting up the same type of numbers and all that. But I think Huntley can come in and just be almost probably he's not going to be Lamar Jackson, but I think he can be somewhat comparable to him and still run the offense just fine. But I don't think nobody can go in there, and I don't think Mitch Trubisky is going to come into Buffalo and take over that offense like Josh Allen can.
Yeah.
Or
Lamar Jackson, you're right. It's just the interceptions for me.
it's too many.
Yeah, man. He's 13. He just I think this year I don't think he's had the outside receiving help that he normally has. His offensive line hasn't, I don't think, been protecting him. But no excuses. I don't have Lamar. I agree with Craig with Josh Allen. He is 4,048 yards, third in touchdowns with 34. His team's winning. I mean, they both have a winning record, but the Bills,
I mean, I get it. Jackson's a one-man show too, so but
yeah.
I think at the time the voting was done, Lamar was the right call.
Mm-hmm.
But since it has been completed in the last few weeks of the regular season, I think Josh Allen has separated himself a bit between Allen raising the level of his play from what we saw through the first half plus of the season, combined with Lamar missing the last few weeks. I would say now I would take Josh Allen over Lamar, but when Pro Bowl voting ended, I would have put Lamar in just because he doesn't have anywhere near the supporting cast that Josh Allen has, and the majority of the offense has been heaped on his shoulders. And while Huntley has done a really good job in a couple of games, Huntley also has a really unique skill set like Lamar, and they did a really good job of finding another quarterback that can match that, so their offense didn't have to change much. You throw Mitch Trubisky into Baltimore, and that offense is getting 150 yards in the game.
Yeah. Mo, what you got? Anybody? You think Lamar should get it?
Nah, I didn't think so. I don't think so. I love Lamar. We all know his impact on the game and on that team. But if we're going strictly off of stats, it's just I can't explain how a Josh Allen or Burrow doesn't get in. It's just that to me just kind of I definitely was surprised by that one.
Okay. AFC running backs, I think we're all gonna. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon. I believe they were listening. They were listening to us, man. Those are our picks, man. We gotta watch out, man. Receivers as well: Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Jamar Chase, Keenan Allen. Anybody?
I mean, you could have made an argument for Pitt's receiver.
Deontay.
Yeah, it could have been an argument made for him, but I get it.
Same. He has almost the exact same numbers,
right,
as Keenan Allen.
Right. So I know it comes down to winning, better team. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't.
It might be the name.
Yeah.
But Deontay Johnson definitely he's going to be reserved. He definitely deserves to get mentioned. But him and Keenan, I looked at their stats. They're like.
The argument can be made, but I don't think he was a snub because I don't think he would be a clear choice over Keenan.
That's correct. Yeah, because that's
how I would look at it.
Yeah, I mean their numbers are like it's like this, man. I looked at both and I was like, I mean, it's so Deontay might have like 20 more yards than him, and it's like, I mean, you can't get really mad at that.
I got you. That's on the receiver that's on the receiver we could make a discussion about being in there. Other than that, it was dead on with the choices.
Yeah. Tight ends. Yeah. I mean, we picked them too. I mean, those are easy.
Yeah.
Listen, shout out to all the tackles and guards. We love you.
Center.
Positions, centers, your positions are very dynamic. So, I mean, most people out here happy, Corey.
I would say that at the center position, I think you could consider it a snub of Creed Humphrey. I would put him in over Ryan Kelly. Kelly's made a Pro Bowl before. He is a really good center, but he's had a little bit of a down year this year. And Humphrey has been fantastic in Kansas City.
Yeah, I could probably see Humphrey on the All-Pro list.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. We're going to the defense.
Are doing the fullback?
Yeah. I'll give him a shout out, but I mean, I don't know how many people.
I couldn't name another one in the NFL.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Kansas City had a fullback. He scored like two. I mean, growing up, fullback was like a huge position, but it's kind of almost been not deleted, but growing up, the fullback was used more, and it's not as used as much. I used to name fullbacks. Like, oh yeah, because the fullback was so vital. You know, you run the power I, you have to have the fullback was in the game a lot. You know, like Daryl Johnson from Dallas. That's just one to mention. It's just, you know, nowadays they don't use it as much. You know, so unfortunately. All right, we got defensive ends, man. For the AFC, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Trey Hickerson. I don't think nobody
Makes sense.
Makes sense, right? We got what? D
tackles.
Can't re-argue those.
Man.
All right, I think Jeffrey Simmons needs to be on this list.
Yeah, I definitely think Jeffrey Simmons needs to be on this list.
From Tennessee.
But does he take place
over who?
Over that's the question.
Man, look.
I would do okay, you know who I would do? All right, people would get mad. Nah, I would do Chris Jones.
I wouldn't.
I think who would you do? DeForest?
Yeah, I got to do it.
Buckner has been phenomenal this year.
There's no knock against him. I'm saying, like, when I looked at his numbers, like at the time of the voting and all that stuff, Simmons has more run stops, more QB pressures, more QB pressure percentage, or it's a higher percentage, and he has more sacks at the time. Now, I didn't look at it since then because I was just trying to go off of at the time of the voting. Now, there's no knock against DeForest Buckner. He's having a great season. I'm just saying, like Jeffrey Simmons, I think he should. I don't know how he didn't get on this list at all over anybody on that list. You can take anybody else off. I'm just saying, Simmons is crazy this year.
Yeah, Simmons is that. I think Simmons deserves.
I don't know how he got off the list. Honestly.
He's
like one of the few bright spots on Tennessee's team right now, for the most part.
Probably the only. Did I say only? Oh man, no, Tannehill. No. I mean, there y'all go, man. Right. Go see, you're going to different topic. I'm not trying to do all that, man. I'm trying to give. Look, Tannehill is a winning quarterback right now for the Tennessee Titans.
Listen.
In the strictest of definitions, yes, technically he is a winning quarterback.
Listen. If Derrick Henry ain't suited up, they'll be one and done in the playoffs. I'm sorry.
Coming into the playoffs.
Hey, they'll be one and done.
But great coaching job. That's Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
Great coaching job. All right, so now we have where are we at? Inside linebacker? No, outside linebacker.
All right, so this is my question. Does Bosa stand up enough to be considered an outside backer? Has he stood up enough and rushed from a stand-up outside linebacker looking position the way you call him an outside backer? Or did they do that because you had to put him in, but you had to kind of flex the position?
No. I think Joey, he plays a 3-4. I think he's an outside backer. I just
the NFL needs to just change the position names and go to linebacker and edge.
That's it.
Because
edge would make it simple.
Yep. The games I've seen of him, I haven't seen that. So
he does go into a 3-point stance a lot. He is lined up as the outside linebacker in the formation. So technically, yes, it makes sense. But it's all three of these guys are edge players.
Yep.
They're not linebackers.
Right.
All three. Craig, you like the picks?
I actually like those picks. I think all of them are having a great season, especially Watt.
Yeah. You know, at first, Joey Bosa. Now, Harold Landry's another edge outside linebacker that's pretty good. But I think Bosa edges him out because he has 6 more forced fumbles. Like Joey Bosa has 6 forced fumbles. That's a lot.
The messed up part is Watt could be defensive player of the year, but I don't think he's going to get it because of his team's record. Like does he have 18 sacks? Is it 17 and a half right now, or is it 18?
It's still 17, and he hurt.
Oh,
I'd still at this point be a little surprised if Watt didn't win it.
Yeah,
I would too.
All right, so now we're going to corners, right? So we got
Inside backers.
inside backers. That's right. Okay.
I don't have a problem with it.
DeForest Buckner.
No,
That's tackles.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Darius Leonard and Perryman.
And Perman, I don't have no problem with it.
Can't argue with it.
Yeah.
I mean, Darius Leonard is the most. He's probably gonna make another All-Pro. Perryman. I think we had him last time.
Yeah, he's had a really good year.
Yeah, that's what we had last time. Who do you think?
I'm agreeing with it. I'm just saying he was on the Panthers, and then they just
he was. What happened? No, seriously.
They traded him
for real this year.
Yeah, before the season started. I don't know.
I didn't know
for
that.
reasons, James.
It's a joke.
Golly.
Yeah.
Oh man, why?
I guess he wasn't going to start. I don't know. I mean, but
he's in a Pro Bowl, having a great year. It's like 30 times. That's anyway. That's my rule. All right. Cornerbacks. We got Denzel Ward, J.C. Jackson, Kenny Moore, Xavier Howard. Kenny Moore the second. My bad. I think we good with that.
I don't have a problem with any of these.
Yeah.
Nah.
I think everybody they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Kevin Byard, free safety. I think we had him last time.
Yeah.
I think he did. Yeah.
All right. So the strong safeties.
Nah.
Derwin James and Tyrann Mathieu.
I don't have a problem with it personally. But
I got a problem with it, man. And Micah Hyde needs some love, man.
But over who?
Micah Hyde needs some love as a strong safety, man. He has 5 interceptions, which is 4th. You said what?
Who you taking off?
Yeah, that's
who I'm taking off?
Yeah.
I don't listen. Okay. I'm taking off Derwin James, man. First of all, he shouldn't have that many. Yeah, he shouldn't have that many tackles. He's a defensive back. Yeah. Yes. Their run defense is horrible. Come on, man. Safety
is his fault.
So why are you knocking him? Why are you knocking him though?
I think Harold Landry's a better overall strong safety and plays his position better.
Yeah.
He has 5 interceptions, which is 4th. He has 10 pass deflections. That's what the position requires. What is Derwin James going to be linebacker? Golly, man. What are we doing here? What's up? Safeties are supposed to defend passes.
I mean, but Jay, that's a position he's being asked though, and he's playing in the box.
Man, I'm taking him off. Hey. Micah, listen. Micah Hyde needs love in the strong safety position, so it could either be. I can't go against Tyrann because that's what my nickname is after. So I got it, Derwin James, man.
I have no issue with Hyde being, the first alternate.
So it could be Tyrann. It could be either or. But Micah needs to be on that. He needs to be on the list, man.
That's tough.
It's tough, man. I looked at it and was like, what? Man, ain't getting no love. All right. Let's next is special teams. Shout out to special teams, man. Y'all work hard too. Thank everybody love, man. Listen, football is hard, man. A lot of players want to be getting love, man. So gotta give them love, man. Now we're going to the NFC, all right? Go Craig.
Hey, listen.
All right, let's go to the NFC, man. All right,
I got problems.
Anybody got a problem with Tom Brady?
No problem.
Anybody got with Aaron Rodgers?
No problem with that.
Kyle Murray.
I got problem with that. I got problem with that. I'm sorry. I got problem. Shout out to Kyler Murray, but I think you got at least 2 quarterbacks. We can name probably more, but it's no way he gets in over Stafford and Kirk Cousins. I understand if you're doing this because of winning, okay, but if this is based on the stats and performance of the player, how does he get in over Kirk Cousins or even Stafford with the numbers they put up? I just don't understand it. Somebody got to explain it to me.
I I agree with Stafford. I don't know about Kirk Cousins. I know Stafford has 1,055 more passing yards, and he's thrown 36 touchdowns to Kyler's 21. Kyler's ran for, even if you factor in Kyler's rushing touchdowns, which I think is 5 or 4, so he's at 25, 20. He's at 26 touchdowns total. Matthew Stafford still has 10 more touchdowns than him.
Right.
I just think he should be in the Pro Bowl. He should be in the Pro Bowl over Kyler.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just
I think Kyler is again in the same position as Lamar in that he benefits from the Pro Bowl voting ending so early. Because a few weeks back, even with missing 3 games, the argument was there to be made for him to make the Pro Bowl. But now he missed 3 games. The last 2 weeks, the offenses look like a mess. So that's like 5 games worth. I wouldn't say are Pro Bowl worthy. That's a good chunk of the season now. So I would definitely put Stafford in over him at this point. But the voting ends when it does. So that's precisely why he is in right now.
Craig, you think Kyler should be over Matthew Stafford?
No. I mean, at the time, that's why I don't understand why they do
the time limit. Yeah.
Early, I guess. I don't know why can't they just wait till the end of the season. But I don't know what the criteria is. But yeah, I think I picked Stafford last time over Kyler, I believe.
I think you did.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like his I think at the time he had maybe, I don't know what his stats were, but they weren't nowhere near as good as Stafford. I couldn't tell you, but I guess it was based on the record. I think at the time maybe they were 10-2 at the time or something like that, or whatever the case may be, and they beat the Rams before, so maybe they looked at that head-to-head matchup at the time and whatever else criteria that they decided to use. But I think at the time they had the best record in the league, I believe. Yeah. So maybe that factored in.
Maybe they should do the Pro Bowl. Maybe do it this week, right? 2 games before the season, week 17.
I mean, if you're going to do it before the end of the season, push it off as late as possible. Yeah. But still having a month left of football.
Yeah.
That's too much.
So much can change. So much can happen between
the
time that they voted and it ends until the end of the season. Like, it's just, you start to see like Josh Allen play better now, and Lamar Jackson's not even playing right now and stuff like that. So Kyler Murray, same thing. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand. And then the next one, like if you can read off.
You already know I'm about to go there next. I already know.
What's going on here? But
man, that shit was crazy. That was crazy. All right, so let's go to NFC running backs. We have Dalvin Cook. I don't think nobody's going to disagree with that, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Go through the whole list first.
All right, James Conner.
Yeah.
James Conner's benefited a lot of goal line touchdowns, or a lot of touchdowns.
A lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, but
he's producing.
Does anybody have anybody else? If you don't think he is in?
I mean, does he
Cordell Patterson. Patterson has to be. He has had a phenomenal season.
Yes, he has.
I would put him in over Cook. I'd put him in over Connor. And I'd probably be okay with him going in over Kamara too.
I'm putting him over Kamara.
Yeah,
I love Kamara, but he hasn't played.
Kamara has not done anything.
I looked and was like, "What? Did he make the
Pro Bowl?"
I'm like, make the Pro Bowl.
I'm like, for all that, they might as well put it.
Fournette could have made it.
Fournette could have made it.
I prefer Fournette.
Fournette got good numbers too.
I mean, is Zeke still leading the NFC running backs in rush yards? Isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Or he's in top 2 or 3.
Zeke is 5 in the NFL in rushing right now. He's 5th.
I don't get that one.
And it's a lot of Dallas fans. So I don't know if the voting on that is
right.
It's a really quiet season for a Cowboys running back.
Yeah, it is.
He's 7.
But I don't know how Kamara made it. I don't know. When I saw it, Cordell Patterson definitely needs to be there. He has 13 total touchdowns, right? No, 11 total touchdowns, and his total yards is 1,062. So it's 579 rushing yards and then 523 receiving yards. He needs to be in there running back. He just needs to be.
Patterson's been the Falcons' offense
Yeah.
for the
Pretty
season.
much. Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yes, they're not a good team, but that's what he's done has been crazy.
Once again, Atlanta fans, I apologize to y'all because I didn't think I was going to win no more than 4 games this year. So I apologize.
They're playing Squid Game with these picks, man. I'm telling you this right now. It's crazy.
I mean, James Conner got in on touchdown totals, period. Cook and Kamara are a name.
Yep. Yeah.
There's
Definitely.
nobody. That's because the NFC is real thin at running back.
It is.
It is.
I looked at the stats. I was like, yeah, it's been
top 6 are in the AFC.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Including Derrick Henry, who's sick.
Yep. They are looking like,
the
man.
NFC has more rushing yards than a guy who hasn't played in 2 months.
Yes.
That's crazy.
I think the first person is Cook, and then it's or is it Zeke?
Cook. I'm sorry, Cook is right.
Cook is Zeke.
Cook is 4th, and then Zeke is 7th.
Yeah, yeah, and then it's all AFC running backs. It's all AFC running backs. I can
understand Cook.
I can understand Cook. Yeah, but I think Fournette should definitely. I mean, he deserves some. Yeah, he deserves some. He's top 10.
He's catching passes out. He was catching passes out.
Catching more. He still dropped some.
I mean that.
Yeah, I would put him over Kamara or Cook. I would.
Yeah. I think Patterson and Fournette are more deserving than Kamara Connor. 100%. This is like the one glaring spot where it's like a legitimate snubs.
Yeah. Like I looked at it and was like, what? Let me look at these stats because then I was like, Kamara's not even. Listen, Kamara is a phenomenal player. It's just this wasn't his year. He was hurt a lot. It happens, you know. It happens like that. It happened to Zeke last year. It's just you play a tough position, a lot of physicality, you know. He got the name, but this year I just don't think he deserves to be a Pro Bowler.
No.
I love him as a running back. He's phenomenal. I just think, you know, the numbers don't lie, you know. All right, cool. I don't think nobody has a problem with receiver.
No. I looked at some lists and saw people like listing wide receivers as snubs, and it's like you're not going to legitimately make an argument to take any of those 4 off. So
nah. I got a problem with receivers on the tight ends. Yeah.
Nah, they're probably those. Oh, the tight end. I don't know. Oh no,
I got a problem with tight ends.
Oh, the receivers, I'm good. Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, and Deebo Samuel.
I'm good with
Deebo is listen. Deebo has the total receiving yards. He has 1,247, and he also has 301 rushing yards with 13 total touchdowns. He definitely deserves to be on there.
Definitely. All
right, tight ends. We got George Kittle and Kyle Pitts. Anybody got a?
I ain't got no problem with that.
I have no problem with it.
No, I mean, did we pick those two? We might have picked. I picked
Hawkinson, but
Hawkinson,
hurt now and
got hurt.
I don't know when he got hurt to the voting or whatever. But Pitts is having a good season. He just only has 1 touchdown, but
yeah,
I mean, he's had to.
Hawkinson's in Detroit.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's always gonna hurt.
Yeah. All right, we got fullback. Shout out love to the fullbacks, man. Tackles, I think we're good on that. Guards, centers, good. Show y'all love, man. Y'all are trenches players, man. Y'all hold it down. Y'all are the glue of the offense. All right, so defense. All right. Nick Bosa, Brian Burns, and Cameron Jordan.
I don't really have a problem with it. DNs.
Anybody?
It's a good list.
It's good. It's somebody that's listed later should be listed in here, but that's an NFL issue that we'll get.
That's talking about the edge, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to ask Craig this when we get to it, though, because I don't know if he should be listed here or I'm going to ask when we get down to it. I think it's outside. Anyway, you're right. They should just list it as edge.
Yep, it's inside, and there is a snub because of it, but we'll get there.
Yeah. All right. Then we got D tackles: Aaron Donald, Jonathan Allen, Kenny Clark. I don't think we had a problem with that.
Yeah.
All right. Inside linebacker: Micah Parsons, Bobby Wagner.
Oh, we didn't do the outsides.
We can do them next.
We can do them next.
Inside, Roquan Smith was absolutely snubbed by Micah Parsons because Micah Parsons should not be listed as an inside linebacker.
He should be listed as outside.
He should be either outside linebacker or defensive end because that's what he's playing currently in the Dallas offense. And the NFL should just have linebackers and edge to end this whole issue to begin with. So the NFL screwed up twice on this.
Well, when we picked, I had him as outside linebacker because Michael Parsons he's probably going to be a defensive player of the year, maybe. Yeah, he's pushing. He's making a heavy push. Craig, you got any problems with it?
Nah, I'm good on this.
Yeah, I can see what Corey's saying. I get it.
He 100% should be in the Pro Bowl. He should not be listed as an inside linebacker.
Yeah, man, he's a beast, man. He's probably going to win. Yeah, he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. That's a fact. I don't know. It's going to be Tim and Watt, but I don't know. Watt's hurt, man. He got to get these sacks because if he ends with 17-5, Parsons is going to. He's going to.
Parsons, being able to have a closing statement if Watt can't play, that'll definitely help his case.
Yeah, that's the only reason, though. All right, so we have. I guess it's outside linebacker, right? See,
all three of these guys are the reason why you need to say edge rusher because how many times have we seen either one of them? Hold on, how many games that we seen where one of them three are checking anybody or dropping in any zones? So I'm like, you call them an outside backer, but they're never covering no running back. They're never covering any slots. They're never really dropping into any zones. So that's why I think you need to use the term edge rusher because you call them an outside backer, but they don't do outside backer responsibilities.
Yeah. I think that's what Corey was saying about Michael Parsons. So Michael Parsons does check receivers.
Granted, with Parsons, Dallas was initially start lining him up as an inside backer. But he hasn't been that for a long time in their defense.
They move him around mostly.
And so these are set up for like outside linebacker, like a Lance Briggs, who was an outside linebacker in a 4-3.
Oh yeah,
like Chandler Jones, Barrett, they're edge guys.
Yeah. All right. So does anybody have a problem with them?
No, I don't have a problem with them being in there. I'm just saying they're not really outside backers. That's why they need to change the wording.
Yeah. Shout out to Robert Quinn, man. 17 sacks. He's having a phenomenal year.
Absolutely.
Bounce back. Good bounce back, man.
Sorry, his team terrible.
Yeah. Good bounce back. He gonna get paid though. So cornerbacks. I think we're pretty good. Yeah. Trayvon Diggs, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slade, Sean Lattimore.
Yeah, you can't really argue that. Yeah.
The free safeties, we have Quandre Diggs. Seahawks. I think that was my pick. And now the strong safeties, Buda Baker and Harrison Smith. We good?
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. Some snubs. Oh man, also, I actually there is a list that I found, right? And it said it had the people with the most vote getters, right? So, we have TJ Watt, Jonathan Taylor, Simmons. It's funny. Jeffrey Simmons got 170,000 votes, but wasn't on the Pro Bowl. Creed Humphrey wasn't on the Pro Bowl. These are vote getters, though.
Yes, yeah.
Creed Humphrey is the highest voted center. He wasn't on the Pro Bowl list. It's just funny that, some of these guys that we picked, Jeffrey Simmons. I was like, let me print this out because it's going to be very interesting that you have people that get votes, and then you have people in the Pro Bowl that didn't get votes. So do the fans know more than they know?
Well, and that's where sometimes the leading vote getter isn't always going to necessarily be the most deserving because fans, whoever has the biggest fan base, could vote their person in.
There's a couple on here though, Corey.
Yeah, I'm with him on Humphrey. I said Kansas City's got a fervent fan base, so that it makes sense that he had the highest vote totals for centers. But and I would agree his performance on the field would reflect that as well.
Yeah, and this is what I wanted to ask Craig about. Hassan Riddick, he got a lot of votes, 135,000. Do you think he should have been there?
Man, I think he's a solid alternate. It's hard to kind of put him in over some of these other guys that are ahead of him. And then you also look at the team and how they're trash. I mean, I know that, but I mean, I can understand why a case could be made because they're on the number 2 defense and he's having a really good season. But I'm not mad about it, but I think he'll be an alternate if anything.
All right, and then I'm gonna finish this out, and then we're gonna go to my favorite segment. Y'all know what that is, right? All right. So the teams with no Pro Bowl selections at all. The Broncos, which I found so crazy. I was like, what? I just feel like they got like
the only
Justice Simmons.
The only people you're gonna make a case for is Justice Simmons and Surtain. That was the only 2 players you could make a case for. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You could make a pretty good case for those guys.
Both. Yeah, you could. Both pretty
both
good. The Giants, I get that. I get that.
That's Saquon not being healthy and the offensive line is terrible. Yeah. Because Saquon is a Pro Bowl caliber back, but that line is terrible. It's just terrible.
And he's coming off a major injury and the line is terrible.
Maybe their punter, he got a lot of work.
Yep. Yeah. The Jaguars, nobody's surprised about that.
No.
The Jets, nobody's surprised.
No.
The Lions, a little bit Hawkinson though, right? But I think he got hurt. And the Texans, no surprises there, man. No. The one is the Broncos though. I don't see how they definitely should have had somebody.
At least somebody in there.
I mean, Surtain's going to make 6-7 Pro Bowls in his career, so missing out on his first one.
Yeah.
Surtain is gonna make some. I like him, man. He's gonna. I like him as a corner, man. He's good. I think he's gonna be good for a really long time. He's gonna have to. Well, you don't think so, man?
I do. I'm just saying the Panthers could have drafted him.
That's like shaking his head.
You're right. I forgot. Yes, that's right.
JC Horn could still end up.
JC Horn went first, right? He went first. Was that JC Horn the first corner?
Yeah.
Oh man. Hey, y'all missed on Michael Parsons. Y'all would have Michael Parsons.
That's Slater too. I think he's a Pro Bowl.
Would Slater? Yeah. Damn.
Whatever.
Slater. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn.
There's always next year.
Yeah, could have had Mac Jones too, for real. Actually,
and the wild part is for Slater being a rookie. Shout out to him for him being a rookie. It's crazy that you see his impact on their line when he's not playing. They look totally different up top.
Oh, damn, Mo! Thank you for that.
I'd be like a rookie. I said it looked totally.
We all wanted him to draft. I thought he was going to go there.
Yeah, I did too.
All right.
We did. We all said that, but don't worry about that, guys, because we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it live on the NFL draft, and y'all gonna see our live reactions, and it's gonna be very interesting. All right, man. So we're going on to my favorite segment, man. It's who you got, yeah. So I love this, man. A mini drum roll, but it's just where we break down the offense, defense, who NFL team has the better coaching, who's going to win the game, why, how about how many points. So we're going to start off with Mo, and we're going to go around.
All right. So I believe I had the Cincinnati and KC game.
Yep.
So offensively, it's tough to say this, but offensively right now, if we're talking currently, I'm not talking about overall, I'm talking about currently, I'll take Cincinnati. Their offense has really been clicking, and they've been the more consistent offense. I know Kansas City's starting to go into their own, but I just still haven't seen a lot of this stuff. I can't count that against Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. I just can't count what they did to Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. I respect it, but I'm just like, Cincinnati's done a lot, is growing offensively. They're dangerous. Defensively, I will take Kansas City. Kansas City's defense has been playing at a high rate. They've been probably the best in the league consistently, overall body of work, how they've been shutting teams down and how they've been using stuff. Coaching wise, of course, you gotta say Andy Reid, but I'm a true believer of this. If Cincinnati wins the division, I think Zach Taylor should be coach of the year. That's just me. That's just my honest take. If they win the North, I think he should be coach of the year. I think it'd be tough not to give it to him, but I can understand if he doesn't get it because a lot of coaches have done great things. This is a tough game to call right here. This is I think this is going to be a test that both teams need. I think Kansas City, and Kansas City's 11-game win streak, this is probably definitely one of the better offenses they have seen during their win streak. Cincinnati, if you want the division, this is the type of game you need to win. But that being said, the Chiefs are just on too much of a run right now. So I think it's going to be a high scoring affair. I'm gonna go 35-28 Kansas City.
Okay. All right. Kansas City. Let's see who I'm gonna do off. Kansas City Chiefs and Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going Kansas City Chiefs offense. I think they're clicking right now. I think you got Kelsey. He's coming back off the COVID list, hopefully, but I believe he is. Tyreek Hill. This offense is clicking. I think they're the number one scoring offense since Week 10. Thank you, Nick Wright, for that. So I got to have Kansas City offense. The reason I'm not picking Bengals offense is they did it against a Ravens team who's hiring guys off the street. Like I'm not giving them no kudos for that. No. So the defense, I got to go. Kansas City has an edge in defense. Again, Kansas City defenses, we've all been seeing it. I mean, besides the Chargers game, they played people really well. I mean, it was to the point where we were questioning it, and that's what great coaches do. They adjust. And Steve Spagnuolo will give him his credit, his flowers, man. He turned around that defense in the right time. And then coaching, got Andy Reid, of course. Zach Taylor's done a phenomenal job this year. Once again, I'll say it, but I had him not doing good this year, and he surprised me. So he's doing good. He's learning. So I think they got a good young core for a while, but I got to give the edge to Andy Reid just because he has the Chiefs about to clinch the 1 seed again for the third straight year. That'll be crazy. Got to go to Kansas City to get to the Super Bowl. And I don't think Patrick Mahomes really loses in November, December. So I just think Andy Reid is overall a better coach. So right now, I think the game is going to be great. I just don't think the Bengals are going to show up when they play a good team. I just don't think they're there yet. I think they have offensive line problems. I think the Chiefs are really going to bring that pressure. They're going to stop the run game. And Joe Burrow is going to be in trouble. And it's going to cause some turnovers. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs offense is going to take advantage of that. I don't see it being a close game. I see the Kansas City Chiefs 35, the Bengals 21. All right, Greg.
Man. So offensively, I think the Chiefs are playing a little bit. Well, I think the Chiefs are playing a lot better than the Bengals. I think the Bengals benefited last week from, like you said, the Ravens pretty much just having nobody back there, especially on defense. But they look good doing it, I guess. The week before that, I think they only put up 15 against the Broncos. So that's a tough road game, but only putting up 15 points, and so and you look at the Chiefs, they're just putting up points in bunches. Kind of clicked a little bit since that Chargers game in the fourth quarter, and then they before that they played the Raiders and they whatever. So now it looks like maybe the offense is getting back into the swing of things. They can find a running game with CEH or Williams. I think even just both of them, I think they'll be even in an even better situation. They still have Kelsey coming back, like you said. Pringle's starting to step up as a good number 2. I don't know what happened to Hartman, but whatever. But Pringle looks pretty good. Hill's still there, obviously, and Mahomes is finally not turning the ball over as much, or turning the ball over pretty much at all. So he looks like 2020, 2019 Patrick Mahomes. So I'm taking the and I don't know what's going on with the Bengals. Like the rushing game has kind of slowed down a little bit the last couple of weeks. So I'm taking the Chiefs. Defensively, I'm taking the Chiefs again. I think the Chiefs, like you said, they've been one of the best, if not the best, defense in the league for like the last since week 10, I believe, or something like that. So they're starting to put it together on both sides of the ball. Like I said, granted, I guess you play the Raiders in there, so that helps. But I guess the Steelers. I mean, they still have names on that offense, even though Ben Roethlisberger is at quarterback. But they're going out there and just basically doing what they need to do to put teams away, and they're doing it on both sides of the ball. Coaching wise, it's Andy Reid. I think Zach Taylor's doing a great job, though. I didn't really see them at 9-6 at this point during the season. Actually, I think I picked them to finish last still, but they proved me wrong. And they look pretty good. I think that they have 2 tough games left in the season. I think they only really need one of these next 2 to win the division. This could be a big statement game for the Bengals heading to the playoffs. But I just think that the Chiefs just have bigger aspirations. Like they're starting to look like that team who a lot of people picked to go all the way this year. So I got to go with the Chiefs. I'm going 34-23. Chiefs.
Go ahead, Corey.
All right, so I guess I'll start this one out by offering up my apologies to the Bengals. I did say that I thought Pittsburgh could finish last in the division before the season, and then I made a joke about Cincinnati still existing, so that probably wouldn't happen. I thought Taylor could be the first coach fired this season. In my defense, though, there were grumblings coming out of Cincinnati before the season started that Taylor wasn't meshing with the players and that he may be starting to lose the locker room. So that's where that stuff came from. To his credit, he has turned it around and has this team in position to be hosting a playoff game. I was definitely wrong when it came to the Bengals at the start of the season. Offensively, I'm going to take Kansas City between these 2 teams, though, because, I believe this once Everett went down, I think the Ravens were down to like their 8th string corner and below. So dropping 40 on that Ravens defense, it's not a test of anything. They're, as you guys said, they're throwing bodies off the streets out there, having to play. It's a mess. The offense had struggled for the last 3 weeks before that, so maybe it's a game that'll get them on track going forward. We'll see. I don't know that will, because I'm also taking the Kansas City defense, because Chiefs are playing really good defense right now. The turnaround is absolutely crazy, and going into the same with coaching and taking Andy Reid is the team 8 weeks into the season was 4-4 and looked like they had a legitimate shot of missing the playoffs. And this does not look like the same football team. And so I don't know if maybe the coaching deserves a hit for not having the team ready to go for the first half of the season. But kudos to them for getting stuff turned around when they needed to and being on pace for the 1 seed. I think this is a major test for the Bengals. This is the game that we're going to find out if they're serious to make any noise or not. Honestly, I think most of the wild card teams in the AFC are perfectly fine facing Cincinnati and Tennessee in the first round. If the Bengals were to get the upset against the Chiefs at home, that might change some opinions. I'm not 100% convinced that'll happen. I'm going to go Kansas City in this one, 30-21.
All right. I'm gonna do the next one. So this one is interesting. I'm gonna go Dolphins versus the Titans. And the offense, I have to go. Oh man, this game is crazy because anyway, it's still up for grabs. But like the Tennessee offense is bad, but I don't know if the Dolphins offense is even more better. More better, that's not a word. But anyway, so get myself together. So I would pick the Dolphins offense just because of Waddle, and that's it. I think both the quarterbacks are very comparable to each other. I think Tua has a lot more upside, but I mean, the dink and dunk game is, he's still young, so can't hold that against him. But I just think the offense is. I'm gonna give it to the Dolphins. Just what they played against the Saints on Monday night, just what they displayed. The defense is interesting because they're both good on both sides of the ball. But I'm gonna give the edge to the Dolphins just because I think they're healthier, they're better on outside, and they rush the quarterback and cause a lot of turnovers, and that's the key to their defense. The coaching. Brian Flores, right? I'm guilty of this. Oh man, if he doesn't win, he's getting fired. This is the second time that he's done this, where they start out slow and it just goes on a winning streak. So they're on a 7-game winning streak. But I'm gonna give the edge to Vrabel just because there's no Derrick Henry. The injuries are to Julio Jones. AJ Brown just got back. And they're still winning football games. Second place. That's coaching. When you don't have depth and the role players and the backup players step up and become starters, that's great coaching. So I have to give it to Mike Vrabel. Interesting thing why I picked this game. The Dolphins are the first team to lose 6 in a row, then win 7. But their 7 wins are against really bad teams. So this is their first test. And right now they're 7-7. They want to get into the playoffs. The Titans went the 2nd seed. But the problem is the Dolphins have really good corners. So if they eliminate A.J. Brown and Russ Tannehill, that's not good. And I think because now the other side, the Titans are going to get after Tua. So I think this is going to be a very defensive game. It's going to be ugly. And I got the Dolphins pulling it out 20-17. That's it. Craig?
Okay. Man. I think it's a push on offense. Like I don't see either team being that dominant over the other, or even being slightly over the other. Like I just don't see it. Considering who the Dolphins have played the last 7 games, they've won 7 in a row, but the Ravens are banged up. That's probably the best team. Actually, that is the best team they played in this 7-game win streak. And they were banged up on a short week. Well, both teams had a short week, but still they're playing them at home, short week. Ravens still banged up, and they win that game. But other than that, the Texans, the Jets, the Panthers, the Giants, the Jets again, and the banged up Saints team. I mean, if you're going to go on a 7-game win streak, this is the right time to do it because you're playing some pretty bad teams in that list. The Jets game was 31-24, so it's not like they went out there and dominated them. But you look at the Titans. I mean, they're doing it without a lot of key players on their offense. But I mean, they beat the 49ers, which was a great win, a big win. But then the week before that, they lost to the Steelers. There's also a loss to the Texans in there in the last 5 games. So I think it's a push. I think both teams have their issues. Obviously, the Titans love to run the ball. AJ Brown had a great game last week. I think Julio's back out again. Could be wrong, but I think he's
I think he's out.
Yeah, and then I mean on the other side, I mean Waddle looks really good, and then you have Devontae Parker who didn't really get focused or get targeted much last week, but he's still there. Gesicki's still there. They have running back by committee, just like Tennessee does at the moment. So I think it's a push. I think maybe if I were to lean to one way or the other, I would probably lean just because Waddle. No, because they got Waddle, AJ Brown. I don't know. I'm just going with a push. On defense, once again, like the Dolphins defense, it looks good the last 7 games, but look who they played. They haven't really played anybody, and it definitely benefits when you play the Saints with Ian Book as your quarterback and you sack him 8 times, and there's no offensive line, and Alvin Kamara can't get off, and you can't do anything. So that definitely helps, and it looks like it's that. And they had a pick 6 in that game as well, so it looks like the defense is playing phenomenal. But yeah, I hate to do another push, man. I really do. I might just lean slightly towards the Dolphins just because you're playing who's on your schedule and you're beating who's on your schedule at this moment in time, and you're putting up stats. I mean, it's like pulling hairs. I go either way. Coaching wise, I think Flores has done a great job the last 7 weeks, obviously. And his team looks like, I mean, right now they're in the 7th seed. After the loss to the Bills, I would have never have said this. I wouldn't. I mean, but they're back in the playoff hunt. Mike Vrabel, like he's doing it without a lot of players. Maybe if Derrick Henry was there, if Julio Jones was any bit of Atlanta 2019, 2018 Julio Jones, then yeah, I would take Tennessee overall pretty much in every category. Or at least on the offense and coaching. But this guy could do another push here. But I'm just going to go with Flores just because his team has won 7 in a row. Mm-hmm. They're starting to come on. They're starting to gel. They're back in the playoff hunt after just not even being anywhere close to it. So I'm taking the Dolphins. Taking the Dolphins 17-14. I don't even know if we're going to see 17 points. But I just think the Dolphins are really hot right now. If they can bring that same defense that they brought from New Orleans into this game, another road game, another tough one, I think they'll be in pretty good shape. It's just this Tua just can't turn the ball over, and just try to get Waddle involved as much as possible. Him and maybe even throwing Devontae in there. I think they'll be fine. So I'm going Dolphins 17-14.
Yeah, Craig, they just put Julio on the COVID list.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah,
he hadn't really done much anyway, but
yeah. All right, Corey.
For this one, offensively, I'm gonna lean Miami. During the Dolphins' winning streak, they're averaging just under 24 points per game. You look at the Titans, the last 5 weeks, they're averaging about 16 points per game. If you take out that 20-0 game against Jacksonville, it's just under 15 points per game. I thought when they brought in Julio that if he could provide anything, then the offense could become more than just Derrick Henry or bust. And well, Julio hasn't really done anything for them this year. Brown still looks good, but you're still stuck with Ryan Tannehill, who I believe is at 14-14 touchdown interception ratio still.
Yeah.
That's not going to cut it. Yes, to Craig's point, the Dolphins haven't played a ton of great teams during their winning streak, but you can only play who's in front of you. And the Titans have had a really easy schedule to end this season, and somehow they lost to the Steelers. They got blown out by the Patriots, and they lost to the Texans. So defensively, I'm gonna lean Miami again. Their defense is playing really well. Kudos to Flores there. Tennessee's defense has tried to keep them in games, and it's largely responsible for their win last week against the Niners. But Miami's just playing really well on that side of the ball right now. Coaching wise, I'll say a push. Flores has had his ups and downs. He gets credit for a 7-game winning streak, but then he also had a 7-game losing streak right before that. So I feel like it kind of balances out a little bit. Vrabel's done a decent job with the roster he has in Tennessee. Overall for this one, I think points should come at a premium. You're going to have to take them where you can get them. I don't know what the over-under is on the game, but I would imagine you have to hammer the under. And I'm going to take Miami with getting the road win 14-10.
Well,
offensively, I'm gonna take Miami right now, just on what Waddle's doing. And it's interesting. I didn't really know this, but Miami's one of the rare teams, I think, in the NFL that have a co-offense coordinator. They don't have a legitimate just one straight offense coordinator. They have co-offensive coordinators. They're doing a great job of working together, scheming how to get Waddle open and get him in space and do the things that we saw him do in college. Defensively, we can go with a push, but I'll go with Miami just based off what they've been doing during this win streak. I watched that Saints game, and I understand that's Ian's books, and I understand that they was down to their third, fourth string tackles, but Miami definitely was flying around and definitely got after it. Coaching wise, I'll take Brady. I think with the job he's done, if you told me or told us, if anybody told us that the Tennessee Titans will have a chance at the 2 seed and still have an outside chance at the 1 seed and Derrick Henry been gone half the season, we would laugh. We'd be like, huh? Like, no, that's not going to happen. And they got a chance at it. So he's done a great job of keeping that locker room together, keeping their spirits high, keeping them competitive. So I'll go with him coaching wise. This game is going to be a defensive battle. But I'm going to go 21-17 Miami. I think they'll find a way to get enough points on the board. So I'm going to go 21-17 Miami.
You know what's crazy? I just looked. I didn't know they had 2 offensive coordinators.
Hey.
That's very interesting. I guess it's working. I was just reading about it. I was like, wow. All right, cool. Craig, what's your game?
Dallas and Arizona. Look, man, I let me just make a apology or something to Zach Taylor and Bill Belichick and whoever else is out there is having a great season for being a head coach, because I picked Cliff Kingsbury and but man, I can't pick him in with good faith anymore. I understand you lose to the Rams, then you go on the road and you get destroyed by the Lions, which is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And then you come home, prime time game, you lose to the Colts, and it wasn't even close to me. Like, it wasn't even that close. So like, they just haven't really been competitive, like especially the last 2 weeks. So just offensively, I don't know what was going on with Collar. I just think maybe he's just trying to get himself back. Obviously, there's no Hopkins. But man, like, it's tough. Like, you could go into the playoffs. You don't, at this point in time, you don't want to go into the playoffs playing this bad, especially after you started out the season so hot. You were the last undefeated team. Like, you went in there with against Green Bay, and you didn't have Hopkins, and you almost won that game. And that was against, obviously, the team who right now looks like to be the overall favorite, but you play them tough. You get beat by the Panthers with the backup, obviously, and then but the last 3 weeks have just been embarrassing. So I don't know. And on the other side, you got Dallas, who obviously the offense looks better, but they played Washington 2 of the last 3 weeks, and they put up 56 points. But I mean, you're playing Washington, who was dealing with COVID issues and just so many injuries on the other side as well. And like you're at home, obviously, and you're playing a rival, so you're trying to get up for that match. I'm trying to show everybody that your offense is back, but I can't really put a lot of stock into that game because they're playing Washington. There's no knock against Washington, but
I got you.
Yeah,
so many things going on with that team. And then you look at obviously the week, 2 weeks before that, they almost gave that game up to Washington with Dak Prescott playing the way he did. So I'm really not at all convinced on either side, but if I had to lean, I'm leaning towards Dallas. I think their running game, their two-headed running combination of Elliott and Pollard is better than Edmonds and
Connor,
so
yeah.
I'm definitely taking that. But also just look at the wide receivers. Just have definitely with no D-Hop there. And then you got Dak Prescott, who's looking to be a lot more comfortable in that offense now since he's come back from injury. So Dallas offense there, Dallas defense as well. The defense is playing lights out the last couple of weeks, or not lights out, but they're playing a lot better. So and they're getting turnovers. I think they lead the league now in turnovers and in takeaways. So and you look at Arizona. Arizona can't stop the run. I'm surprised they held Taylor to barely over 100 yards because I thought he was going to go off against them. But they kind of held him in check a little bit. But still, they're still going over 100 yards easily every time to just one back. So Dallas has two backs, and Zeke pretty much needs like a good coming out game. So I just don't think their defense for Arizona is going to stop anybody at this point. And at this point, late in the season, you want to stop the bleeding, and I don't think it's going to stop this week against the Cowboys, especially on the road. And coaching wise, I think, man, Cliff Kingsbury, man, I can't do it. So I got to go with McCarthy. I think he's done. I think he's done a great job considering the fact that his team was struggling here and people were asking questions after that Raiders loss. And the week before that, they had the Chiefs, but they had some players out with injury or COVID, I believe. It was COVID with Coop.
It was COVID, yeah.
With Coop. So, like, I can understand that. But, the last 4 weeks, they've started to get it together. They look like the team that a lot of people picked, or some people picked to go all the way, especially Dallas fans. And Arizona just looks like the opposite. Like, they're going in the wrong – two teams are going in opposite directions. So, for that reason, I got to take Dallas. I think they're going to keep rolling. Unfortunately, it's going to be the fourth straight loss for Arizona. I'm going Dallas 35 to 24.
All right, Corey.
Offensively, yeah, I'll lean Dallas. I think so Arizona, some of their struggles was James Conner was out on Saturday. They do get Rodney Hudson, Pro Bowl center back as well this week, which I believe Arizona had 3 bad snaps in that game on Saturday. So getting a lineman of that quality definitely helps. I mean, one of the bad snaps led directly to a safety, so that should help Arizona. Kyler himself hasn't looked great. I know some of the Arizona fans sitting around us at the game were openly wondering if he's not still dealing with injuries and just trying to play through it as an explanation to his kind of poor play.
Talking about the ankle. You talking about Connor's ankle?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although on that 50-yard run, he looked pretty good. So I don't know what it is. Defensively, yeah, got to take Dallas. They're playing really well. Arizona's had, it's crazy. The loss to Detroit is inexcusable. And it's not just the loss, it's getting steamrolled like they did and just manhandled. It's an embarrassing loss for a team that's vying for a playoff spot. So it's hard to pick that defense over just about anybody's right now. Coaching wise, as much as I don't like him, you got to go Mike McCarthy. So Craig looked at me like I was a little crazy when I said that I still think Kingsbury could get fired at the end of the season. All of the fans sitting around us at that game are already calling for Kingsbury's head. Watching some of the local Phoenix news after the game, people were like writing in calling for Kingsbury's head. It's a matter of just this is the second year in a row that this team has looked good, looked like they were in position to make the playoffs, make a run, and then everything has just started to fall apart. Last year, I think they got to 8 wins, fell apart, missed the playoffs entirely. This year, they got enough wins that they could still back into the playoffs, but I don't think anybody would expect much of them if they do get in at this point, especially if they end up losing out.
Yeah, they clinched. They're in there.
They're clinched. They're in, but it's
might be a first out. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. I think the Cardinals organization, with the drafting of Kingsbury of Kyler a year after trading up in round 1 to take Rosen, shows that they're not afraid to make a big change when they feel it's necessary. I would also imagine that, bringing in veterans like AJ Green and JJ Watt and some of those guys, that you have to understand that your window to win is right now. So I don't know if they can afford another season of Kingsbury if he can't turn this around at the end of the year and at least make the team look competitive and be playing well. So if they back into the playoffs like this and get beat bad first round, I still think Kingsbury could be gone. So overall, it's just at this point, it's impossible to pick Arizona right now. The way they're playing, it's not great. Yes, the Colts are a pretty good team, but they were without 4 of their starting 5 offensive linemen. Their 5th, the lone starter that was able to play last week, got hurt in the first half, didn't finish the game. So they have 5 backup offensive linemen through the second half of that football game. And still, the Colts are able to move the ball on the ground with Taylor. I don't know how anyone could have any faith in them because their fan base sure doesn't. So I'm going to take Dallas in this one. 28-17.
All right. Side note, the Chiefs are the only team in the AFC to clinch.
Yep.
The Packers, Cowboys, Rams, Bucks, and Cardinals have all clinched. That's very interesting, though. So this is coming down to the wire, especially in the AFC, because it's literally one game, right? If the Titans lose, then it gets very interesting at that point. But all right, Mo. Cowboys, Cardinals.
Offensively, I'm gonna take Dallas. They're catching their stride. They're catching their stride. I think some of the things are coming along, and they're gonna get if I'm not mistaken, they get Tyron Smith back this week. So I think they're the better offense right now. Defensively, of course, I'll take Dallas. Just the way they're playing right now, that pass rush, Diggs with 11 picks. They just all over the place right now. They're playing at a high level. They're having fun. Coaching wise, I'll take Mike McCartney. I hate Dallas, but I gotta be real. I'll take McCartney over Cliff Kingsbury every day of the week, coaching wise.
Okay.
And right now, and to our point, which everybody was talking about, Arizona's going to be one and done. I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. Sorry, Arizona fans, but you get to the playoffs. Look what they're gonna be facing. They're going to play Tampa or they want to play Rams. I don't see them beating either one of them right now. Like I can't legitimately say they would beat either one of them in the playoff game on the road. So, and I think this would be a fireable offense for where they were at to end up in the 5 seed and lose first round. I don't know. They might he'll be on the hot seat next year. He'll be on the terrible hot seat for next season, I think. I'm sorry. I just think the way you collapse twice 2 years in a row like this, I just think but I'm not saying it's right, but I just think he'll be on the hot seat next year going into next season. But I'm gonna go Dallas in this one. I don't think Arizona's gonna be able to run the ball enough. And if they get into them third and longs and you don't have D-Hop out there, Dallas is going to be able to pin their ears back and get on Murray. And they have the athletes to match Murray's athleticism. So I think it's going to be Dallas 35-21.
Okay, so this game is pretty interesting. I think this game is, like I said, it clinched. So I think this is a seeding game and matchup wise, right? So because they could meet each other again in a couple of weeks, right? So offense, the Cardinals, Kyle Murray, I guess he has been playing good since he came back. Maybe it's the ankle. He did do a 50-yard run. I don't think his offensive line is where it's supposed to be. He doesn't have Hopkins. I think that hurts him a lot. I think they had a huge connection. They still have Christian Kirk, but I don't. And the running game it's non-existent. Listen, this is the time of year that you want to establish a running game because you're going to have balance. You cannot have Chase Edmonds and James Conner, right? Because when the playoffs come, you got to have balance, and you're missing you're missing Hopkins, so there's no outside threat. I'm loading the box, So offense, man, I gotta go with Dallas. They're getting healthy. Tony Pollard, I know he has that plantar fasciitis issue. He's able to play through it. I think him and Zeke are a good combo off each other. Zeke is toughing through. It's pretty good. Zeke's a tough guy anyway. And I know they played the Washington football team, but if they could do that against the Cardinals and Dallas, I hate to say it, they're a scary team. If their offense comes together like their defense and they run the ball, they're scary because you have Dak Prescott with a running game, and then you have CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Amari Cooper. That's pretty tough. So I'm gonna give the edge to offense. Dallas defense, I gotta go Dallas, man. They've been balling. Trayvon Diggs on the outside. Now Trayvon Diggs, he gives up a lot of yards, but he gets picks. So if you test him, it's likely he's going to come down with interception, right? Then you have Michael Parsons, who's everywhere on the defense, from going to checking Zach Ertz to putting his paws on Kyler Murray, man. Michael Parsons is everywhere. He's everywhere the gap be, right? And then you have Lawrence come back. He's looking good, healthy. Gregory looks like he looks like the pick that he wanted them to be. Vander Esch's playing well too. I think Dan Quinn has this. Shout out to him, man. He's turned this Cowboys defense around. I think Craig said it. They had the most takeaways in the NFL, right? So I got to give the edge to defense to the Cowboys. And coaching, I got to go Mike McCarthy. Cliff Kingsbury, I don't think they're going to fire him next year if he gets to the playoffs, even though the Cardinals could. I don't think they would. I don't know, but this is the second year. It's start off hot and then going down, which when you're a young coach in the NFL, sometimes it's hard with consistency, especially to get players focused to playing in December. That's when the season really matters, right? So I got to go Mike McCarthy. He's put coaches in the positions that they're supposed to be. He lets Kellen Moore do the offense. He lets Dan Quinn do the defense. And he's coaching really good right now, man. So I give the edge to Dallas in a sweep, all three categories. But I think this game is going to be good, highly anticipated. I just think if the Cardinals show life against the Colts, I would have, I would be more ready to pick the Cardinals, but they just haven't shown me anything. And once again, I know they clinched, but I keep saying it over. This time of year is not when you want to be spiraling out of control. You got to get some wins, man. Tennessee's fallen. Oh, we got a good win against San Francisco. That's what you have to do. Not only that instills confidence in your team going forward. I don't think the spiral is going to stop with Dallas. And I got Dallas winning 35-21.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, quick side one. Yeah, Dallas. Yeah, they're leading the NFL in turnovers. They got 33. Colts are second with 31.
Yeah, I know Colts are up there. Speaking of Colts, Corey, last one.
So I know this is a game that's a little difficult to call right now. Colts Raiders. It is a pretty important game for the AFC playoff picture, though. The win and the Colts clinch a playoff spot. The Raiders lose, their playoff chances get pretty rough. Offensively, I'm going to lean Colts. If we knew whether or not for certain Carson Wentz was playing on Saturday, I would take the Colts hands down because Brian Edwards, I know for the Raiders, went on the COVID list. I haven't heard anything about his status. I haven't heard about Darren Waller's status as well. I know he was out again last week. I don't know if they expect him to go or not this week. And I mean, the Raiders receiving core is already a little iffy after Ruggs' departure from the team. You lose those two guys for the game. That's going to be tough against a defense that is playing really well. And the Colts have overcome just a ton of adversity. As just talked about the Cardinals game, they were without 4 starters last week. Eric Fisher, the left tackle, went down during the game in the second quarter against Arizona. The adjustment to the COVID rules has gotten a number of players off the COVID list for Indianapolis. Ryan Kelly looks to be rejoining the team after his family tragedy. It looks like Glowinski and Nelson are off the COVID list. So at a bare minimum, the Colts will have their 3 interior starters on the offensive line. Hopefully Braden Smith can get back too. I know the word is they made a phone call to Phillip Rivers, inquiring about his availability. Not too surprising, just to gauge the interest just in case. But it'll be the Sam Eilinger show if Carson Wentz can't go. And I mean, kind of touch on the coaching as well. If Wentz can't go, I trust Frank Reich to get creative and have a really good game plan built around Eiliger's mobility and Jonathan Taylor doing Jonathan Taylor things to be able to potentially get them a win against the Raiders. Defensively, I'm going to go Indianapolis as well. You look at what they had to do, I said late in the week, losing Darius Leonard. They've been without Julian Blackmon for a while. They were down to 2 safeties in that game because TJ Carey went on the COVID list. And the defense still played really well. The first time in I think 17 games they didn't come up with a turnover, but they did have a safety. So I know it technically doesn't go into the stat sheet as a turnover, but it's the equivalent of, and it puts points on the board. Coaching wise, obviously it's Frank Reich. I mean, the Raiders have an interim coach, but it's just the job Reich has done keeping the team together after a 1-4 start. Dealing with all the adversity of late. I still think Jonathan Taylor going over 100 yards and help anchoring an offense that was ravaged like it was before the game between injuries and COVID. I think that's another argument for his case for MVP. And if Carson Wentz doesn't play and somehow the Colts win this game, I think not only is Jonathan Taylor the league MVP, but you've got to just potentially hand the Coach of the Year award to Frank Reich as well. But it's not going to be easy. Derek Carr is a really good quarterback. I mean, there's a reason that the Colts reportedly reached out to the Raiders and checked out the availability of Carr before they made the Carson Wentz trade. And I think Carr is good enough to keep the Raiders in it. I just don't know how much he has around him right now. So I'm going to take Indianapolis in this one. I say 28-24. But honestly, Frank Reich has made me a believer. I think I would take the Colts even if I knew Carson wasn't going. But there's a chance that he is activated and ready to play on Sunday still. So,
all right, Mo, Raiders and Colts. Who you got?
Offensively, if Wentz was playing, I would just totally 10 toes down say the Colts. But not to be funny, I'll still say the Colts. I think still you got weapons. You got Jonathan Taylor who will run the ball. You'll get a heavy doses of him. So I'll still say the Colts. Defensively, I'll definitely say the Colts. Culture wise, of course, Frank Wright, the job he's done keeping steady with injuries and COVID issues and all that. He's done a great job keeping his team intact. I'm gonna go Colts with this one. I think they know what's at stake as far as seeding and everything. So I think I'm gonna take Colts in a war. It's gonna be. I think I'll take Colts 21-17. I think Jonathan Taylor's gonna run the ball well and they're gonna make enough plays.
All right. So speaking of the new COVID protocols, so they're saying that the NFL, NFLPA, this new CDC guidelines, they reduced the quarantine time from 10 days to 5.
Yep.
So even if you're unvaccinated, or
as long as you're asymptomatic.
Yep. No.
Vaccinated or not.
No, they just went up. It doesn't matter if you're asymptomatic, but if you're not, right? If a player is fever-free for 24 hours without the use of fever-reducing medication and other symptoms have resolved and they test negative, they're there. They're in there. That's the new. I thought so, Corey, and I had to read. Sometimes you got to read down. I don't do that all the time. Yeah,
I know
man.
it's like the story's been evolving a lot over the last 24 hours. So.
Yeah, it's constantly updating. So I mean, we know why they're doing that. So I mean, but offense. Listen, the Raiders have Derek Carr. Darren Waller is another one that he just got placed on the COVID list, I believe, today or yesterday. Oh. So he could still play, but with his injury, I don't know. He has knee. Now he has back issues as well. He hasn't practiced fully. I would shut him down for the rest of the year. You have Hunter Renfrow, Derek Carr, but I'm picking the Colts offense just because of the base of Jonathan Taylor. I think he's that good. He's in the MVP conversation, and that's the Colts offense. And I'm not mad at that. They're going to run through him. The defense, I got to go with the Colts once again. Mo just gave out a stat. They're second in the NFL behind Dallas with 31 turnovers. Darius Leonard has a chance to play as well. So, I mean, you got Darius Leonard. You still have Kenny Moore, right? The defense is good because, you still have DeForest Buckner. And, once again, their defense is good. So, and they also have a really good linebacker too. Corey probably
Okereke?
Yeah. So he's, I mean, at that point, the Colts defense is better. Coaching, I gotta go Frank Wright, man. Hey, I'm watching Hard Knocks again tonight. I love the end season, by the way. And his philosophy is after every game, he says we're 1-0, which I like because it keeps the players focused in the moment. That's the best thing about life. It's probably the most difficult thing to do. It's not to focus on the past or future, but just focus on the present, one game at a time. So he has them hitting on all cylinders. And so I got to go coaching Frank Wright. And because I think they're well-coached team, a well-oiled machine, I think the Colts, they're hitting on all cylinders right now. And they have them beating the Raiders. Unfortunately, the Raiders are just losing more and more. And it's just not, at this time of year, it's not good it's just not good. It's unlucky, man. It's just happening. It happens. Injuries happen, man. So once again, I have the Colts edging it out. It's going to be, they're going to win off some turnovers, and they're going to have to rely on their defense. So it's going to be 21-17. All right. Great.
Yeah. So I looked at I was trying to find the actual line for this game, but Vegas hasn't put a line out for this game yet. I guess
they haven't.
the only one they haven't put a line out for.
There was a line, but then the Wentz news happened, and I believe they took it down.
Okay, so they're still waiting for that to happen.
What? That's crazy.
That. So, I was trying to look for the over under and everything, but I couldn't find nothing. So, I think the Raiders just have too many issues on offense. I think they're obviously they won the last 2 in a row, but they haven't really done anything. Granted, they played 2 tough defenses, but like this is kind of the point in time where your offense should be gelling, should be a lot better. And granted, there's no Darren Waller there. They pretty much just been leaning on Hunter Renfrow and a little bit of Josh Jacobs when he's been available, basically. But before that, this last two games that they won, they've lost 5 of 6. So, and that was a field goal win against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. So, you look at the Colts. I think the Colts are playing exceptionally well. Obviously Taylor is MVP candidate for a reason. And he definitely deserves to be in that discussion. And Carson Wentz, when he's there, like he doesn't really turn the ball over. He looks like maybe not 2017 Carson Wentz, but he looks really good. And if he doesn't go, it's going to be a little bit tougher in the offense. But I think that they'll Frank Wright will draw up, like Corey said, they'll draw up something for Sam to come in and just pretty much just do something that he's comfortable with, basically. And the only thing you really don't want to do is see what Ian Book did and turn the ball over, come in the game and try to do something, and you turn the ball over, get sacked 8 times or whatever it was. So I think he'll be fine. I think this, as long as the Colts get their offensive line back and just lean heavily on Taylor, I think they'll be fine. And like I said, Vegas just has too many issues on their offensive side. I like the turnaround that Derek Carr has done the last couple of games, and pretty much what he's kind of done the whole season. He's looked solid, especially with everything that they've been going through with the coach, and then with their starting wide receiver, and then I believe a cornerback had some issues and stuff like that. So, that they've had some things going on with their team that, I mean, it's going to be kind of tough to bounce back from, but they're in a good position right now at 8-7 to have a statement win and put themselves in conversation. I know they wish they got some of these games back that they lost, but it is what it is. So I'm picking the Colts offense. On defense, I think James pretty much said the names I was going to say. If Darius Leonard can come back, I know he missed last week's game. He can come back, which he should be able to come back this week. So, and then you got DeForest Buckner, Kenny Moore. All these guys are Pro Bowlers for a reason. So, I think, and they're second in league in takeaways. So there's no reason why against Derek Carr and the lack of weapons or the lack of players that he has in general around him that they shouldn't go out and get to him and force turnovers and things like that. So, and he's not a runner like Kyler Murray was last week, so they don't have to worry about that. I guess Josh Jacobs is pretty much the only person that you really have to worry about. Although Hunter Renfrow has had a solid season, but still, it's the Colts defense is playing really well. Coaching wise, I think Frank Wright he's done a great job, especially from the start of the season that he had. Had some tough games in that start, but even still, like you played in the games even that they lost. They played the Titans tough, lost by 3. They played the Bucks tough, lost by 8. They could have won both of those games. Even the Ravens game, they lost by 6, and that was a tough game as well. So just all these games are one possession games that they lost since the start of what that was a 1-4 start. So like this is probably the most dangerous team going to the playoffs that teams I don't think want to see, especially if you're if you're Cincinnati or if you're Tennessee. Playing against a veteran team like this, it's going to be tough. But the Raiders have a chance to, pull off a big win, get a big upset. Well, maybe it's upset depending on the line, but get a big road win anyway. But I just don't as good of a job as the I don't even know his name, the interim head coach has done for the Raiders, this is a big tough task for them. So I'm definitely going with the Colts here. If Wentz were playing, it'd be so much easier for me to pick a score, but I'm going to say 23-19. The Colts win this game.
All right, cool.
So James, two more things for this game real quick.
Yeah.
One, I know Perryman, the Pro Bowl linebacker, was put on the COVID list this week, along with a couple other Raiders linebackers. So their linebacking core is really thin. Now, this was also, again, before, I believe this was announced on Monday.
Okay,
so they could still get back. We will see. But another part for this game that I feel like probably shouldn't be underlooked or overlooked is the individual that's going to address the team and give the speech to the team on Saturday night is going to be T.Y. Hilton. He's been a tremendous leader in this locker room for the team for years now, especially this season. He's come up big of late when they've needed someone to make a play. He stepped up and made some plays for them. But there's a real possibility that this will be his last home game as an Indianapolis Colt. And I know T.Y. commands a lot of respect in that locker room. And I think no matter what the quarterback situation is, there's going to be a lot of guys wanting to go out there and put it on the line for T.Y. to help him go off Lucas Oil for potentially the last time with a win.
Yeah, I heard that. I think this is his contract a year.
He only had a 1-year deal. He had the neck injury that was already making him consider retirement. So I could see him hanging it up at the end of the season. If
he doesn't, I think he'll be back. It's on him. I think the Colts will bring him back.
I don't know that they would.
That's interesting.
It's up to Ballard, that is.
Yeah.
You got both sidelines, I think, have something. Like you got T.Y. on one side and you got John Madden and that whole thing on the other side.
Yeah.
Most of the players probably know him from the video game, but
yeah, I'm not sure that anybody on the Raiders roster is going to have any more of a connection to Madden than anyone on the Colts sideline.
Yeah, maybe the owner, the son, but it was
marked it. Yeah,
maybe he'll be the one to round the team up. I don't know, but
I don't know if that's going to affect the game.
It wouldn't affect that as much as a player, no. But I'm just saying, like they both have some type of thing to.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right, guys, the live stream is over. All right, once again, thank y'all for the support. Like, comment.